Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to do a close reading activity with your students using a tool called DocHub. DocHub will enable your students to edit and annotate on a PDF of something that they're reading, so they can do it on the computer. And I think this really helps them get ready for some of the standardized testing that they need to do on the computer. It lets them practice that online annotating. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the different materials that I need for this activity. I'm going to need an article, of course, and then I'm also going to need a bookmark that has a key for the different annotations that we're going to be using. So I have put in my Science Google Classroom an article from Bird Brain Science, which is a really neat website that gives you science articles that are leveled to different lextiles. And it's called The Trip Around the Sun. It teaches the children all about the revolution of the Earth around the sun. So that's the first thing I'm going to open. Then I'm going to go back into my classroom, and I'm also going to open an image of the bookmark that has our annotating symbols on it that we will be using today. So in order to be able to look at both of these things at the same time, I'm going to need to make a split screen on the computer screen. And I want the first half of my screen to be the bookmark. So I'm going to grab this tab, and I'm going to drag the tab down away from the rest of the tabs and let go. And you'll notice that back here behind that tab, there are no longer any other tabs. It's been made into its own separate window. In order to make that smaller so I can make a split screen with it, I'm going to click over here in the top right-hand corner on the boxes, and those restore the image down to a smaller size. If I were to click it at the top and drag it as far over as I can go here, it will show half my screen in blue, and it's going to make that window take up half my screen. Then I need to click back here again, and the other tab that I just created is hidden behind this area. And I'm going to open up the article itself. So I'm going to click on the article. And this is the important thing that you need to do in order to be able to annotate. You want to open the article with an app called DocHub. So if you click on the shark tooth next to the open command, you'll notice some different things that you can open your document with. DocHub is the big black letter D, and it's going to enable you to view, edit, and sign PDFs. So I'm going to open it with DocHub. Okay, so you'll see I have my article here again, but I also have all these wonderful tools that are going to help my students to be able to take notes and annotate as they read the article. I want to make this a separate tab on the page, on the screen, so I'm going to drag this tab down just like I did with the picture one of the bookmark. Let go. You'll notice that it's all by itself again. I'm going to click on the top right-hand corner and restore that one down as well. And I'm going to scoot it over to this side. Now remember I said that our bookmark was hidden behind all these other tabs. So if I minimize this area by clicking the underline symbol, you'll see my bookmark was back behind that. So I'm actually going to make the bookmark a little smaller, and I can do that by dragging my cursor over the right-hand side of this window and just sliding it in so it doesn't take as much room up. One reason I'm doing that is because the bookmark really doesn't need to take up that much space, and the other reason is that you'll notice that the tools I used to have up here aren't showing, and that's because the window is a little bit too small. So I'm going to scoot him right up against the bookmark, and then if I go to the bottom right hand corner, I can stretch this window out farther and my tools will appear again. So some different tools that my fifth graders have found useful are the arrow, the pointer. That one just allows you to use your cursor as the usual mouse that you use it for. Another one is the text. You can insert text anywhere on the document. Maybe they want to take some notes about something they learned, and they can just make a text box and start typing. I remember learning about this at the museum. So that should stay there after you click off of it. The drawing tool is probably one of the ones we use the most, and the reason is you can change the color of the paintbrush that you're drawing with. So if you look over here, if I click on this shark tooth, I get lots of different colors to choose from. What I like to do is make quizzes for the kids, and I will give them certain colors that they need to underline textual evidence with. So maybe to question number 1, please underline the evidence in the text in red. So click on red. You can also change the brush size if you'd like to make it thicker or thinner. So maybe the textual evidence for number 1 was to orbit means, for one thing, to orbit around another thing. And you'll notice that when you click off of it, it turns the color that you had chosen. There's also a highlighter. It's not quite as useful to me as the draw tool because you can't change the color of the highlighter, but you might want to have kids highlight certain ideas using the highlight tool. And you'll see that it only comes out in yellow. They can insert comments, and those will be tied to their Google accounts. We haven't used that one yet. There's a whiteout that works as an eraser, but the one they like the most is this little check mark, and that is the stamp tool. So if you click on the shark tooth next to the stamp tool, you'll notice that you have a lot of symbols that look similar to the symbols on the bookmark. For example, on the bookmark, we're supposed to star things that are important. So if the students click on that stamp, anywhere where they find something that looks important, they can just click and leave a stamp in that spot. Another one that the students really liked was the little exclamation point in the triangle. They used that one for I'm surprised. And you and your class can work together with the stamps and decide how you want to use those. You might even want to make a custom bookmark for your class that fits better with the DocHub stamps. You can insert files if you'd like to using this one. We haven't had a use for that during our annotations. And then you can also sign. You can import a signature using the sign symbol. I think that's more for probably legal documents and adult type documents. And then once your students have gone through this, and the way that we go through it is we do a rally coach Kagan structure. 2 students will work together and they will go through sentence by sentence, and student A will read the first sentence. They'll talk about which, if any, annotating tool they want to add to that sentence. Then they'll explain their reasoning to partner B. Then partner B will listen and tell whether they agree or disagree and why or why not. And then they'll both annotate their own text and then move on to partner B reading the second sentence. And that way both students really have to pay attention to each sentence of the text. Once you're done annotating, the last step would be to go up to the top right-hand corner and to click on this little dark blue arrow. And your choices are, you can download it as a PDF, you can download to a doc, which you'll get an imperfect copy, or you can export it to your Google Drive. My students just exported it to their Google Drives. And then you'll get this little window that says it was successfully saved. Would you like to view it in your drive? And if you view it, you should see all of the annotations that you finished doing. So I hope this helps you and your students do some close reading and some Kagan structures around reading. I really feel like it helps the students get ready for the types of things that they have to do on the new PARCC test. So good luck with this and have